those deals still have to make sense. Those sellers are still human beings, right? Like those sellers have the same bullshit complaints as anybody else. And keep in mind, the bigger you go, the more slim the buyer pool is. Because it's like everyone can buy $1 million property. I mean, there's millions of
Yeah.
buyers for $1 million deal. If it's a $1 billion deal, there's about 4 people on planet Earth that probably could buy that, right? So, or call it maybe 10 funds, right? Like, so it's just like, you know what I mean? So it just narrows down that buyer pool. Other than that, keep in mind, not only are they human, but people still at that level like doing business with people they know. So it's just as you get up to those tiers, it's and I would even urge everybody, I say the same thing all the time. Just because you're selling $100 million deal doesn't mean you make 100 times the amount of money you would make on $1 million deal. I want to be very clear because the larger the deal, a lot of times the less commission they're willing to pay. So all of a sudden you're doing $100 million deal and you're going to make a 0.25% commission and it's $250,000 and you can make that on a $3 million deal, right? Or a $4 million deal. People get so starry-eyed when they see these huge deals and realize that like it's really not that complicated. The biggest thing is really just understanding how to evaluate it. It's all a lot of the same questions you're going to ask. And you just need to know what you're talking about. Like that's the only other thing. Like I would really say like the only difference between talking to a mom and pop guy who has $1 million deal versus $100 million deal is you have to know the lingo. If the guy goes, yeah, listen, like I got a cap rate of, it's a cap. I want a 6 cap. The owner, the tenant has a first right of first refusal, and you're like, I don't know what that is. It's a problem, right? Like you're probably not going to get the deal. Once you kind of know the lingo, and again, if you don't know what to say in certain moments, like that's a great question. Let me talk to my partner before I get back to you, right? Like it's just you don't have to answer things you don't know. So all I can say is like I've seen not the most brilliant people sell huge deals, and it just gave me the confidence to say this knucklehead could do it. I know I can. And by the way, everybody also started like gradually.
Yeah, that's how we. How do you see us leveraging our skill set individually and as a team to create something? Like, is there a sort of like, John, you should actually focus in on this. Lauren, you should probably do this, or you guys both separate and be two people, or just because I think we like working together in that sense.
I think we use it as a crutch.
I think the only thing I can tell you, because like obviously I don't know you guys super well, right? And I don't want to make assumptions, but the one thing I can tell you that has worked in my life that for partnerships in general is having very defined roles, very specific, very defined roles saying, hey, my job is X, your job is Y, and we just run. Right. This way you're not stepping on toes. You don't there's no miscommunication. There's no, I thought this was this and this was that. The more defined roles you can have for each other. Now, whatever works for you. Like, again, like I don't want to just say one thing because I don't know if that'll be right. I don't want to just suggest something, but keep in mind that there's only so many roles in this business. And only so many of them pay a good dollar per hour, right? If you're not lead generating, meeting a client face to face, or negotiating some type of deal, right? Or working with a client to try to negotiate a deal, you're not making money. You're doing an activity that somebody else you can pay $10 or $20 an hour can do. So I would tell you both that if you want to make big money, you said you want to make $1 million here, right? If you want to make $1 million, that means both of you do very high leverage, high dollar per hour activities, and then you pay somebody to do the lower dollar per hour activities. If it doesn't make me 1,000 to 10,000 an hour, I don't do it.
Do you think it's feasible with anybody you've had through your program before? Like, we don't want to gross $1 million, we want to net $1 million. Has anybody done that in like their first year with you?
Not in the first year, not in 1 year. I'll tell you this: I've taken people to $1 million before, but I can tell you that it has not. That was not net. It was $1 million GCI. And if you want to do $1 million net, you're probably looking at close to $1.5 million to $2 million, in that range in GCI. It's very attainable. It's something that you can do. It is possible many people have done it, and at the same time, it is something that you have to realize that there's a reason why it is the 1% of 1%. Because most people aren't willing to work 100 hours a week for 3 years or 5 years straight. To do that, you're going to need to have, 5 or 10 or 20 very active buyers, probably 10 or 20 minimum, very active buyers. Yeah. You're going to have a very strong, very consistent lead generation process. Generating 1 lead a day isn't enough if you want to make $1 million a year. Our team generates almost 1,000 leads a month. So it's like, obviously we have more than just me, right? Like, but if you want to make $1 million a year, you need to generate a lot of leads, have a lot of, and especially in the commercial world where like it's not always a listing. We sell it on, 99% of the time we're doing it off, double ending it off market. So you need to have a lot of wonderful buyers. But again, it's only at $2 million at 5% commission, which is 100 grand. It's only doing 100 grand a month. Right? $2 million deal a month. So it's not eons away. I mean, I don't know if you have the pipeline that can support $1 million a year in 12 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, again, if you came to me and said, hey, my pending pipeline right now is unfucking believable, then maybe it's different.